Thanks for joining us for Elko Live today, this edition of the program for Tuesday, in which we catch up with Elko City News. We're sitting down just a day early to accommodate my schedule today, so I really appreciate our city manager, Jan Baum, coming in a bit early to get things recorded. Thank you, Jan.
Absolutely, not a problem at all, and I'm glad to catch up.
Yes, in fact, the City Council at the time of this broadcast will be meeting this afternoon in regular session, Tuesday, August 12th at 4 o'clock, and there's not a ton on the agenda, but there are some obviously significant items per usual that we want to make sure that listeners are aware of. They can participate both in line, online, or in person if they prefer. And so I guess we'll just kind of get started looking over what's on the agenda today, Jan.
Absolutely. That sounds great. Yes, I was surprised. I thought the agenda would be a little longer. We had 3 weeks in between meetings, which only happens a couple times a year. And I think everybody welcomes it. It's a good little break. And so, I was surprised the agenda's not heavier. I have a feeling the next agenda might be.
Yes, there'll be a few more items reflected there. So and we'll skip around just a little bit, just in the interest of time. It is always nice to see small businesses propped up, and we do have a request from a literally called Ma and Pa's Indian Taco Stand. They want to have a concession space in the main park, and this is a good opportunity to educate people that that's how these food trucks get permission to park in a city spot, right?
Absolutely. So I believe we have 5 spots at the city park. And if a vendor, a food truck, would like to have their food truck there at the city park, and actually that area, we just resurfaced that today. It's part of the micro. And so it looks amazing. It's closed off today, but it will be open, I'm sure, tomorrow. And anyway, if you would like to have a spot there for your business, then you just petition and put in an application with the city clerk, and she processes that. And I believe currently we have 1 more space available.
That's good to know, because those spots are busy even in the autumn and winter months. People love their food trucks in Elko, Jan. So
they really do, and I think they do quite well, especially when school's in, and we're starting school right around the corner, and a lot of those high school kids need somewhere to go, and so it's a good place for them to congregate, I suppose.
So that will be in the main city park in the vicinity of City Hall. So super easy. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a presentation, some appreciation for a planning commissioner who has gone off the board, and Tony O'Day. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. So Tony, I guess, was on the planning commission for 3 years. And he has resigned. He has his business and some other things that he would like to spend more time on. And so, I think that Kathy Laughlin, our planning, oh my heavens, our city planner, I shouldn't have said planning, that sent me for a loop, but our city planner would like to recognize them, and the city council would like to recognize Tony for his contribution to the planning commission.
That's nice. The Planning Commission does do a lot of heavy lifting, by the way. So for listeners' benefit, it's an all-volunteer position. It's appointed by the City Council. At last report, I think you did have 1 vacancy, again, with Tony's resignation. I'm not sure if you filled that yet or if you're still taking applications.
I believe she's still taking applications. I'm not sure when that closes. But yes, I believe we're still taking application.
All right. That's excellent. If you're interested in sitting on the Elko City Planning Commission, there are a few requirements, including that you are a city resident, and I think of 18 or older. So, and you don't have to be experienced. You don't have to have a certain profession, just have an interest.
Absolutely. And it's a great learning opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. So, to really learn how the city is, the master plan, and how they plan out the city, and why certain there's sidewalks and curb gutter sidewalks, all the things. So
all the things.
It's really interesting, and I think it would be a good opportunity.
So get in touch with the city planner's office. That would be Kathy Laughlin, and I think she can give you some more information about where to direct that application. Well, and speaking of moving up through the ranks, Jan Baum, our very own city manager, is an appointed official with the city. For many years, you were a financial services director, so in charge of the budget, and learned a lot. And here you are as our city manager today, and you're among an elite group who are being evaluated because you have performance evaluations on a regular basis, right, Jan?
Absolutely. So, and you're right. So the way the city is set up, there is the city council, and appointed officials report directly to the city council. And obviously, I myself am a appointed official. I'm sorry, I have a frog in my throat today.
That's okay.
And
I've had
then-
that too lately. Yes.
And then Annette Robinson, who is the city clerk, and then Chief James Johnston is the fire chief, and then the police chief, he is an appointed official as well, Dr. Kyle Ward, but since he started right after the first of the year, he won't have his evaluation on the city council agenda, but Chief Johnston and Annette Robinson and myself, the three of us are fortunate, enough to be able to be on there. So yes, so city council will have evaluations for the three of us and determine if we move forward with merit pay increases similar to what the management received.
All right. Thank you, Jan. That is on the City Council agenda under personnel today. So anybody who's interested, obviously, can follow along. Mm-hmm. Under appropriation, it's time to purchase some new equipment, and everybody loves the Caterpillar articulated chassis with the Mega 6K water tank.
Right. I think this is the water wagon.
Okay, let's call it the water wagon.
Smaller version of what it's called, but that's its nickname. And yeah, it's expensive. It's at the landfill, and obviously it's a very necessary piece of equipment. And so yes, that was approved in the budget. And I believe either Shane Fertig, who is our superintendent of the landfill, or Dale Johnson, who is the assistant city manager, one of them will be presenting. I believe it's Shane, actually, it says here. So we'll be presenting that to council.
Great. And that's in the amount of about $791,000 and change, so almost $792,000. And that's how much equipment costs.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So moving under new business today, too. Oh, yes, this is something that's been in the works for some time, and I think you even had a day-long workshop for local builders, developers, folks who are very interested and impacted by this, adoption of the 2024 building and fire codes.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to have a Chris Kimball, who is with Building Code Solutions, will be at the City Council to give a presentation to the City Council. So Chris Kimball actually already performed two workshops for us, one on fire codes and the changes or updates in the 2024 code, and then also the building codes. And you're right, they do impact our builders, our developers in town, and so it was necessary that we go through this workshop and get their input and get some education out there. Chris does a really great job at educating, and he did a good job. And I wasn't able to attend the fire code workshop, but I was able to attend the building code, and that's not my forte, but it was very interesting. He did a great job at that education. There wasn't a ton of input or a pushback on the implementation of these codes at that time, but it's necessary for us to go through this process. And so what this step of the process is just asking council, is this something you're interested in doing? And so there'll be a presentation and some discussion, and we'll ask council if they are interested in going forward with that.
We do have a diverse Elko City Council. These are the elected officials, and some of them have, business or experience in this, and so that's really helpful, whether they're in suppliers or in real estate, for example, Jan. And as you said, there will be discussion during the meeting. Again, it is not an action item. It says for possible action. So I guess they could adopt today?
No, they're not adopting today. They're just giving staff direction on whether they want them to go forward with adoption.
Okay.
So we need that direction from them. Yes, we've done some education in the public and we've done some things like that, but we haven't officially asked council if they're interested in adopting the new codes. And so we thought that we would like to do that. And also we'd like to bring it to council a few times so that there is some opportunity for the public to give comment and, full transparency of the process.
Yeah, that is really important. And this presentation will include to the City Council a summary of the updated codes, because the entire thing is not being updated, but obviously there are certain sections that will be augmented if approved, if the city votes to proceed, and why it's important to update the codes and what the process will be going forward. And it is typical that communities, large and small, this is a 2024 building and fire code, they try to align those with other municipalities. Some municipalities might be several years behind in adopting the latest code, but it's typical.
Yeah, absolutely. So we try, well, I want to say the last time we updated the codes, I guess, was in 2018. And before that, it had been quite a few years. And so we are trying to stay on a 6-year cycle. The codes are updated every 3 years. That's quite a bit. And so we would like to stay on at least that's the staff's idea, is to stay on a 6-year cycle. And so it's time for us to update those codes. And there are different reasons for updating the codes. There are some, which I learned a little bit during that class, but there are even different methods of building that aren't approved in our current code because they're updated, and so they aren't currently approved, and they will be if we update the code. And like you said, we're not up if the council agrees to move forward with updating to the 2024 code. It would not be the intention of the city to adopt every single code. Obviously, it needs to make sense for our community and our environment. And so anyway, we will, Chris will give a nice presentation to council, and I'm hoping for some good discussion.
Jan Baum is our city manager. Again, we're sitting down just a bit in advance of Tuesday's regular council meeting, discussing what's on the agenda today for the 4:00 session at City Hall. And we're moving pretty quickly through the agenda again, because not a lot of heavy lifting, obviously, but we'll have some updates too and some other ongoing city business that's been happening. And just, I think, one more note on the city code is that it often involves, safety aspects, new materials. The fire chief, they're looking at possibly pursuing adopting the fire code. So obviously that's a big emphasis, but sometimes it meets the needs too of, say, a city needs affordable housing or alternative type housing. It can be in response to what builders or developers have been asking for.
Absolutely. And then there's also the insurance aspect of that. So every year, the fire department, and I believe part of the building department, we get evaluated for our ISO rating. And if you don't adopt the codes on a timely basis, it will affect your ISO rating. And the ISO rating of the community will impact the insurance rates for residents as well as businesses in our area. And so we want to make sure to try and keep our ISO as low as possible, and in order to try to keep our insurance rates as low as possible. And everybody knows insurance costs can be an issue, and they're rising all the time, and so that's another big reason to keep your building codes up to date.
Thank you, Jan. Again, that's under new business when the council meets in regular session. Just the discussion of whether or not the city would like to pursue, the city council will determine whether or not to pursue the 2024 building and fire code. So there'll be more public meetings and discussion as it proceeds.
Absolutely. If the city council directs staff to go forward with the adoption of the 2024 code, then if there will be an ordinance created, and an ordinance is how you change code. An ordinance has to be heard before the city council twice. There's a first reading, and then there's a public hearing as well. And then also, in order to update the code, we will have to do a business impact statement. And so this is quite a process. It will take months. It's not a fast process. And so there will be a lot of transparency. There'll be a lot of communication with the public, and which is necessary and what we want.
Yep, there'll be plenty of time for more input, and we'll keep talking about it here on the city's radio show. So thank you, Jan.
Wonderful, yes. And if you have more questions, maybe we can bring in
yes.
a building official.
Oh, definitely. Very helpful. Lastly on the agenda, other than reports, which I always find those are the most informative. I love hearing from all the various departments. There will be a public hearing, and this is an item in which the city planner, Volunteer Planning Commission, as we discussed earlier, they rejected a request for some property, some modifications. And so this is just coming before the city council, and it's a typical process, and it'll be a 5:30 public hearing. This is not the golf net issue, though. This is not that one.
Absolutely. So you're right. On July 1st, that planning commission, there were two items on that planning commission meeting that have been appealed, and one was the golf net, the placement or installation of a golf net by the LDS Temple, and that appeal, I believe, will be at the next meeting. And so the last meeting in August. And so, yes, this is one having to do with a resident. And it was actually, the Planning Commission decision was to conditionally grant a variance, and it had some good conditions. And I believe that the applicant is wanting to appeal those conditions.
All right. So that's up for public hearing at 5:30 when the council meets in regular session. So that kind of wraps up regular agenda items, unless there's anything I glossed over that you wanted to make sure.
I don't think so, Lori.
We do have time to talk about some other projects. The city's been engaged in strategic planning, Jan, and this has been really a process or an opportunity for the community to become engaged and involved in what the city might do for the next 5 years or so.
Absolutely. And so it's been a great process so far. Fred Steinman with University of Nevada, Reno is leading us through this process. And so, yes, we've had public input meetings. I believe those were in June. And I believe there were a total of 4 of those. And there was some public input during those meetings, which was greatly appreciated. Fred Steinman indicated that he had great participation, and these people were really engaged. And so I don't know who those people were. It wasn't shared, which it wasn't supposed to be shared, but I'd like to publicly thank those people that did participate. We need public input for this strategic plan. And then before that, we did some surveys. And I want to say we had around 350 or so of those surveys filled out. So
that's pretty healthy.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. So we had that. And so Fred compiled and summarized all of that information from the external. He also did some external interviews with different stakeholders in our community. And so all of that information was compiled and summarized. And then we had a meeting, a special meeting, that included not only council, but all of the management team for the city of Elko. I'm going to say there were about 25 to 30 people there. We had really good participation. And actually, just this weekend, he sent me an email with some of the summarized information for that. And then I believe the next step, once we've reviewed that information and he's summarized that first workshop for the staff, we will have another follow-up workshop with the staff, and I'm not exactly sure when that will be, but like we said previously, that special meeting, it did last all day. If any of the public wanted to participate or watch the process, they're more than, we're more than happy to have them do that. They're welcome to do that. But anyway, so I'm hoping that we can button this up probably in the next few months. And so then we'll have our 5-year strategic plan to kind of look back on and keep us on track, and so it'll be a good tool for going forward for sure.
Oh, that's fantastic. And again, great participation from the community, not just city, but certainly some outlying residents participated too, because many of the amenities are shared. And obviously, we appreciate the fact that people enjoy their community or have suggestions. And I'm sure that's something to look forward to, Jan. Yeah.
I agree. And if you have, if you see something that the city needs to, pivot or turn, or we're missing out on something, then, that's what those public meetings are for. So I think we're talking hindsight a little bit, because I think most of the public meetings are finished. I need to look through Fred's timeline exactly, but we're kind of heading towards the tail end of the strategic planning process.
Great, Jan, thank you. And one of the ways that I think the city has met community concern was by hiring a full-time code enforcement officer, Jan. And I've been hearing things just from people saying, wow, I just filled out a form online, and within a couple of days or even a week or so, problem solved. And
absolutely, Ramon's doing a very good job.
Yes.
We have one code enforcement officer for the entire community, for our entire city. And so we are mainly reactionary, I guess is the word to say. We react to complaints or people filling out that form, or concerns in the community. And once we get those, then for sure he reacts, and he's doing a really good job, and he's very professional. He's a very nice person, and also very knowledgeable and professional. And so he's doing a good job, and we're hoping that his efforts are helping clean up some of the things in our city.
Thanks, Jan. I know we'll look forward to maybe Ramon can come on the radio sometime, because it is such a popular topic in the community.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we'll have
anytime
to consider that for sure. He and Ralph could do that.
Yeah. We're talking with Jan Baum, our Elko City Manager, again, pre-recording the program, but in advance of Tuesday's August 12th, 4 o'clock regular meeting of the Elko City Council. So the next item we are hearing some concerns about, though, and I know that you may be fielding some calls, Jan, residents who have received their first water bills with the new metered rate, and they're pointing to something, the sewer rate, in addition to the increased water fee. And, I have to say, I think I need to own part of this, that in all the years, we've had a couple of years of discussions going into water meters, I don't think we talked a lot about the sewer rate as well, Jan.
Absolutely.
So I failed to ask those questions.
Well, and I think we failed on that end as well. We were so focused on water that we didn't really do a great job of educating on that the sewer rate would change as well. And plus some people, I want to say right now we're up by Rolling Hills Drive and off of Enfield. So north of the highway, we're moving along, and obviously it's a very dry time of year right now. So not only are people getting the meters, they should be getting door hangers and getting information in advance for that. But once the meters are installed and the residents go on a water meter, then yes, the sewer rate is based on the use of water. It's 47% of the usage of the water. So it's discounted to 47% to account for water that does not go to the sewer plant. So it's a formula that was, we've actually been researching this. Annette went back decades to see where that 47% comes from. it went back so far that we couldn't find where that computation came from. But Dale Johnson is very knowledgeable, of course. He used to be the utility director, and he's very knowledgeable about different percentages that are charged in different communities. He said a lot of communities will charge upwards of 75% of the water usage. So the 47% is fairly conservative, but we do need to account for the amount of waste and water going to the sewer plant. And somebody said in a meeting once, a city council meeting, that if you want third world infrastructure, sewer and water infrastructure, then you don't charge for your usage. But if you want infrastructure that works, then you're going to have to pay some of the rates for that.
And I was in that meeting. That was a late Lee Hoffman.
It was Lee Hoffman.
And it's a good thing.
It was just so insightful, and he knew, and he's right. Like, we have a really good water and sewer system. And it does cost a lot of money to keep those going. And so I understand that right now we are in the summer. People are using more water. They're watering their lawns. In the winter, on the other hand, the water usage will go way down. And very likely the water and sewer bill will be well below the flat rate. And so we're asking for patience as we go into the winter. And if people can give that water and sewer rate a good year to balance out, I think that they will see just that it'll balance out. And if you're not using as much, you're not going to pay as much. If you're using a lot, you're going to pay a little more.
All right, Jan, thank you. And as always, if people there are some legitimate questions, concerns, they need to be calling the utilities department, because that's part of the reason that we install the water meters, is to determine if there are leaks and there are some problem areas. And it might be on the city's side. It could be on the property owner's side.
Absolutely. And we've had that happen. And so please do call. The water department will go out and evaluate if you have a leak. And if you do, they'll inform you if it's on the city side or the homeowner side. And but it's important that we get these leaks fixed, and it'll help the resident, but it also helps the city. So so definitely, if you have concerns about a higher high water bill, then definitely reach out. And then I also want to mention that there were the print. We have an external company print our water bills. And some people received them three times.
I do. I was one of those too.
And
yes.
So I think that is really, making people ultra sensitive as well. Because they're getting stuff over and over and over, and it's confusing. I totally understand that, and it is confusing. And so, please know you may receive 3 bills this month, but only one.
All right, just pay the one. Yeah. Yes. It was just a coincidental mistake. At the same time, some people are having some anxiety over those new metered water bills, and then again the sewage rate that's the discharge. So we'll be talking more about it every city show if we need to, Jan, just to get the word out. The last 2 updates before we let you go. Anything new on the RDA sidewalk renovation downtown? And we also wanted to mention that the city tennis courts have been resurfaced.
Yes. So the city tennis courts were just recently resurfaced, and that was the beginning of all of our courts being, either redone or resurfaced. It's the one court that will likely get done this summer. The rest of them will likely be done next spring. But anyway, yes. So that's exciting. And then the second thing, what did we do? The downtown project. So they poured all of the concrete on Railroad between 4th and 5th, and they're working on the curb, gutter, and sidewalk over there by the commercial hotel and casino. please know they're still open. So just know all these businesses are open through all the construction. And then they started ripping up the sidewalk and demolishing the sidewalk between 4th and 5th on Commercial. And so we're moving along with that process, and we hope to keep that communication going on what's going on and to the businesses and all that. And so I just want to repeat, all of the businesses are still open, and please don't hesitate to use our local businesses.
Yep, still looking at an October wrap up, certainly by fall, hopefully before the snow flies. But again, hearing really good things about the work that's already been accomplished, Jan. So
absolutely,
hang in there a little bit longer.
Looks very nice. So,
Jan, thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Jan Baum is our Elko City Manager, and you've been listening to Elko Live on KELK.